Am I the asshole for leaving my SIL's wedding early without my husband? Let me start this off with my 23F husband, 26M, and I have been together for almost 6 years and have an almost 3-year-old son. My husband's family has always been very lovely and welcoming. The only exception, however, is my sister-in-law, 29F. From the moment I met my husband, she's hated me for no reason. First time I ever met her was at their mother's wedding, and I, 7 months pregnant the time, found her spooning my sleeping husband in the room him and I were sharing. The day only went downhill with her crying to him about how he could have done better and that it's not too late. Right after we had our son, she was supposed to visit us with my mother-in-law but refused because she didn't want to. I thought it was strange but let it go and waited for her to be ready to accept us. Flash forward 3 years and virtually nothing has changed. She ignores our son and I's existence, but when we're brought up she shows a very obvious disdain, according to most of his family. Back in July she asked my husband to walk her down the aisle, in a whole different state in September, just a few months away, knowing I'd be difficult due to our jobs. Long story short, my husband ended up agreeing knowing I didn't want to. On our way to the wedding we were informed that even though we are driving 24 hours to get there we will have to pay $400 for our lodging. Okay, fine. Whatever, I planned for something unexpected. That didn't bother me. What did is that the second we got there we had to get straight into the rehearsal dinner, only to find out my son and I are not seated with family or the extended family during the ceremony, nor are we seated with my husband at the reception. We find out the night before the wedding that the person who is seated next to him was a girl he had a crush on in high school and his sister hadn't talked to in 10 years, rather than his wife and child. My husband was upset but refused to talk to his sister or go against her wishes for the seating, so I just took my son and left. I didn't have high hopes coming to the wedding, but I was hoping that she'd at least start treating us as family since I'm her precious younger brother's wife, but myself and worst of all our son were completely disrespected. My family is completely on my side, of course, and most of my husband's family is as well, but some people are saying I should have just put up with it instead of leaving in the middle of the reception because she was the bride. Please tell me if I'm the So everyone is just gonna skip the part where his own sister was spooning him. Okay, cool. You also have a husband problem. Jesus. If your husband doesn't make a stand now, your son will eventually catch on to the mistreatment of you and him by his family. This makes him not only a shitty husband but a shitty father. Not the asshole. Your reaction seems perfectly understandable. Why was your husband putting up with his sister insulting his wife? I'd have walked out the minute the seating arrangements were announced. Or said loudly, "No, there's been a mistake. John's sitting over here with me." And then walked over and swapped name tags. If anyone objected, that would have been the time to leave. I have no objection to making scenes. Not the asshole. But you have a husband problem more than a sister-in-law problem. Why is he not dealing with it? Not the asshole. Your Scylla husband's behavior has me wondering if there's more to their relationship dynamic than just being siblings, and not in a good way. Spooning with your sibling is not normal, and her possessiveness of him and his submissiveness to her only reinforces the questionability of their relationship. Emo. Honestly, questionable sibling relations aside, ask yourself if this is really how you want you and your son to be treated by them, because it's obviously not going to change. Not the asshole, but you probably gave her the exact reaction she wanted. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she called me a loser? I, 28M, have a younger sister, 24F, who has 2 kids, ages 5 and 3, and I used to babysit them all the time, no questions asked. Lately, though, she's been making these snarky comments about my job and life choices, calling me a loser in front of the kids and even to my face. It really stings, especially because I'm trying to figure out my career and personal goals. After the latest incident where she casually threw, "Maybe that's why you don't have a real job," my way while we were at a family dinner, I snapped. I told her I wouldn't be babysitting anymore until she could treat me with respect. She got really upset, saying I was overreacting and that it was just a joke. Now I feel guilty because I know her kids love spending time with me, but I also don't want to be belittled like that. Am I the asshole for standing up for myself? Not the asshole. You can spend time with the kids without being the babysitter. I spend lots of time with my nephews, but most of the time it will be at a family gathering with their parents present. Not babysitting, which is not quite the same. If she thinks you are a loser, why would she want her kids around you anyway? Just be firm. And don't change your mind just when she apologizes because she is stuck. Tell her you'll want to see long-term changes before you reconsider your position. Nah, you're definitely not the You've been the cool uncle, but she's throwing shade like it's confetti. Setting boundaries is totally fair. No one wants to be the punchline in someone else's jokes. It might even make her realize that being a loser is not the same as being a supportive brother. Not the asshole. You are absolutely right about her disrespecting you. Good for you for standing your ground. Comments like that aren't jokes, it's just petty. Not the asshole. A joke where someone is getting hurt isn't a joke, it's bullying. She is being mean and using you. She can't have it both ways. Not the asshole. Ask her why in the world does she want such a loser around her kids? Don't babysit and please, do not fall for the "it was just a joke." Your sister is a bully. Do not feel guilty about not babysitting anymore. If you do decide to babysit, make her pay you and get the money up front. She needs to learn to keep her mouth shut and go work out her issues in therapy. She's probably jealous you have more free time. Maybe she should think about her life choices. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy decorations and furniture that I don't need? I live with my girlfriend, and when we moved into the apartment we bought a new sofa, bedside cabinets, dining table and chairs, TV stand, desk among others. The kitchen already came fitted, so we didn't have to worry about that. We split the cost of the furniture 50-50. Now our apartment is fully furnished with new furniture that all looks good and that my girlfriend and I chose together. We've lived in the house for just under a year now. My girlfriend has started coming home with plants and other decorative items for the apartment. She doesn't discuss it, she just buys them when she sees them. Now she's started telling me the price of them and asking me to send her half of the cost. I refused as she's the one deciding to get them. I don't want or need them and have on say in them being in the apartment, so I'm not paying. She recently started looking at a new bedside cabinet and makeup desk. She was showing me the ones she's picked out and told me again how much and asked me to send her half. I refused and told her these things are just things she wants. She doesn't need them and that if she wants to replace them she shouldn't be expecting to do it with my money. She got annoyed and said I should be paying half. I asked why, since it's her deciding she wants them when she's got a desk and table that is pretty much brand new. I asked if she would pay half if I decided we needed a new TV, but she didn't answer. She just said furniture and decoration should be 50-50, but I again refused and told her I'm not paying half of the cost for everything that she just decides she wants. She said I was being unreasonable since it's my apartment too. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy furniture and decorations that I don't want, need? Your girlfriend doesn't want to live in an undecorated bachelor pad. Furniture is not enough to make an apartment feel homey and comfortable. I think everyone sucks here because her additional purchases should have been discussed ahead of time, i.e. we need some decorative pieces, can we split the cost if I see some things that match our space? I also agree that she should split the cost if you want to upgrade the TV or add anything else to the space. Everyone saying, it's your money, is correct, but why move in with someone if not to build a life together and create a shared space that reflects both of you? God, this is that weird troll that makes up a scenario with this exact age gap, cross-posts it in half a dozen subs, and then spends his entire day arguing with everyone. Oh, what if the genders were reversed, in before his account gets banned like the hundreds of previous ones that have been banned. No one should waste their time responding. Not the asshole. The only decorations that should be 50-50 are ones you both decide on together. If one of you wants something as decoration, it's up to whoever wants it to pay for it. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend needs to discuss joint purchases before buying them. Op asked about something similar 7 months ago. I'm pretty sure this is fake. You mentioned buying the furniture, but not buying decor, and then claim repeatedly in the comments you do have decor, even though this is a new unfurnished apartment. You claim she just wants to replace items you already have and recently bought, but you don't even know what a vanity, a makeup table, as you call it, is called, and don't list it among the things you bought either. Also, somehow neither of you have any furniture from where you previously lived. I smell a lie. Am I the asshole for kicking our adult stepdaughter out of the home? Are we, my husband, 44M, and I, 45F, Taz, for kicking out our oldest child, my stepdaughter, his BD, 21F? Important. We are a happily married couple with steady full-time jobs. We live in a stable environment, own our home, not rich, just hardworking, and have since had 2 boys together, 8 and 12 years old. The backstory. My husband has always had full custody of his daughter. We got together when she was 17 months old, and her visitations with Biomom were spotty at best, and often non-existent when she was growing up. From a very young age, she exhibited signs of mental illness, which we tried to get her help for over and over. Stealing from us turned into shoplifting, lying to us about literally everything, even when there was no point in it, turned into pathological lying even to teachers, counselors, therapists, friends and friends' parents. Her behavior out of the home was stellar. Inside our walls, she refused to follow rules, ignored boundaries, called both of names, or just refused to speak to us. She began running away whenever we tried to enforce rules or deliver consequences for breaking them. If we took away Wi-Fi access as punishment, she would just leave and not come home for days, weeks on end. She would bring and smoke drugs inside our home. Then, she began telling the school and her friends' boyfriend's parents that we would withhold food and medication from her. Not true. And threatening to call CAS on us. Eventually, she aged out of being able to use CAS against us for herself, and started threatening to call them on behalf of our oldest son. He has been diagnosed with ADHD and autism, and is on meds for the ADHD. She started claiming that we're just sedating him to make him easier to deal with, and telling him not to take his meds. At that point, my husband kicked her out. Not on the streets, her friend's mom allowed her to stay there. But we decided that it's one thing to live with her abusive nature and deal with it as best we could, but another thing to allow her to turn it on her siblings. It was a heartbreaking decision, but we felt it was necessary. So, are we the assholes? Not the asshole. It sounds like you've done everything you could to support your stepdaughter through her mental health struggles and difficult behavior, but at some point you had to protect the well-being of the rest of your family. Her behavior became too harmful, especially when it started affecting your other children. Not the asshole. She's 21 and highly disruptive to the younger kids, and sounds like there will be a much healthier environment for them without her. Not the asshole. At this point your primary obligation is to protect your minor children. The fact that she acts one way with others and another way with you says she's altering her behavior to suit the circumstances, and therefore she knows what she's doing. She's an adult and has made some poor and obviously intentionally hurtful to your children. She's an adult and now gets to face the consequences of her actions. You're not required to provide housing for her. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Does she have a PDA diagnosis? Not the asshole. You have tried to help her for years. Now is the time for her to help herself.